ground.
So Anil Kumble's the new batsman. He's a right-hander, and unfortunately got a few problems out there. The Indians really are not taking this very well. Their bottles being thrown out onto the ground. They behaved so well, but they really are not happy with their side. And a big chant is going up in this ground here at Eden Gardens in Calcutta, and these huge great bottles of water being thrown onto the ground. The police are beginning to circle. There are 110,000 people in this ground, and that makes it just a little bit scary. India 120 for 8. It looks as if there's a little bit of a fire started in one of the stands. The Sri Lankans, I can tell you, have all got themselves together. They're not about to go and stand on the boundary. They've got themselves in a huddle, and of course the umpires can't allow the game to go on because the spinners are bowling and they can't put their fieldsmen back on the fence. There was a huge chant going up, a big blaze going up in that section of the stand. So I must say that the helpers here are doing their very best to get around and get rid of the bottles. And of course, huge security at the start of play, which prevented a lot of the people coming to this ground bringing anything in. But this is a very disappointing performance by these folk here in Calcutta. The Bengalis love their cricket, but they've got to learn to lose as well.
Yes, Tony, I think what's happening, they're unhappy, they're angry. Teams look as if they're coming off for a minute or two. The crowd, that's Clive Roy, the match referee, going to speak to the umpires and the captain and players. He can make the decisions, can Clive Lloyd, former West Indies captain. He's telling them exactly what he wants and expects. I think it's poor on the crowd. They came expecting their heroes to win, and they feel that their heroes have let them down, but that happens in sport. To act like this is appalling.
So I think that Clive seems to me to be suggesting that they should get on with it, while at the same time, I suppose it's a little bit difficult because there's people all over the ground here. Clive Lloyd now looking down towards square leg.
Yeah, I wonder if Clive's saying, why don't you get on with the game, because they might stop throwing things if the cricket actually starts. The longer you hang around in the middle and do nothing, the more excitable the crowd's going to become.
Well, they look to me as if they're coming off the ground. This is sensational stuff. This game is going to have to be awarded to the Sri Lankans. And I think that the match referee has said that's it. It seems to me that, judging by the reaction of the Sri Lankans, that the game is being awarded to the Sri Lankans. Well, what a sensation this is. Clive Lloyd taking absolutely no chances, and I've got to say that where there's a bit of a risk, situations like this, then I don't think that he had any option whatsoever. The Indians are out there complaining, Campbell is complaining, but Clive Lloyd's making his position absolutely clear, and he said, look, if they can't behave themselves and we can't get onto this match, that's the end of that, and I'm awarding the match to the Sri Lankans. Well, Ravi Shastri's moved in here, and he'll be pretty disappointed with the way things have turned out. He's with Jeff Boycott.
Well, thank you, Tony. Really, this has been disgraceful behavior by the Calcutta crowd. One that wasn't expected. It's only a game. You must be able to accept defeat in your stride as a sportsman. And in fact, they must stand up and realize the fact that their country has been outplayed by Sri Lanka. There's nothing wrong in that. It's only men who can do it. And really, this is most unfortunate.
Well, I've been all around the world. I've played 20 odd years in cricket. I've never seen anything like that. I played once in Kingston, Jamaica, 1968. Colin Cowdy was captain of England, and there was some bottle throwing there. Tear grass by the police. We all got it in our eyes. We had to leave, and we actually had to come back and play a 6th day and make up the town. But I didn't expect this from Indian crowds, who are knowledgeable. They love the cricket. You expect them to come and want the home side to win. That's natural of all home supporters. But here, to actually be bad losers is not good for the sporting city of Calcutta. It really is bad. It's a bad image.
Well, that's the score there for you. 120 for 8 India. Really in dire straits, and it's most unfortunate that this game has come to a halt because of the unruly behavior by the crowd. Calcutta has a reputation of having a very sporting crowd, but really they haven't done any justice to that reputation today, especially in the last half hour or so. It really hasn't been a pleasant sight. There've been bottles being thrown all over the place, fruit being thrown all over. And really this must be a very difficult decision for the match referee Clive Lloyd. I for one really won't be surprised if the bottle throwing doesn't stop pretty quickly, if he doesn't abandon the game, because it can get dangerous out there. There's no question about the fact that the Sri Lankans have outplayed the Indians today.
Well, we're talking cricket, how important the toss is. And you get the opportunity, if you win it, to take a decision. If you take the right one, as Azharuddin got the bird today for getting out for naught, and all the hopes and dreams of the Indian people have all gone up in smoke, and unfortunately they can't take it. They can't take the disappointment of losing.
The police trying to quieten down the crowd, but we've had a feast of cricket today. India winning the toss and deciding to field. Sri Lanka having that sensational start when they lost 2 wickets in the very first over. The explosive opening pair of Jayasuriya and Kaluvitarana out to Srinath. But then Arvinder De Silva really took the attack to the Indian bowlers, scoring a fine 66. He was supported by Mahanama, who retired hurt later for 58. But a good performance by the lower order from Sri Lanka. 35 from Ranatunga, 32 from Tilakaratna, and 23 from Chaminda Was.
Well, I thought Mahanama's innings was brilliant. Under pressure, he nearly lost his place because they were thinking of playing a leg spinner. And Cumbly, you'd expect to bowl well. He bowled a lot of his overs at the death, so 1 for 51 didn't look special, but it actually was good bowling. But the key to India's was Tendulkar. Really surprised Pakidi. I know he bowls a few overs, but I don't think he expected to bowl them for as cheaply as he got away with them. He bowled brilliantly. 2 for 34 was excellent.
So the umpire's out in the middle. We might just see play starting in a short while. Well, the police have had a hard job in controlling this crowd. And then the Indian batting. Well, after that fine start from Tendulkar, in spite of the loss of Sidhu, Manjrekar and Tendulkar doing a good job, but then after that, wickets falling at regular intervals, and really the Sri Lankans picking up 8 Indian wickets with only 120 runs on the board. Well, with me is the match referee, Clive Lloyd. Clive, how does it look out there?
Well, I think it's subsiding, really, because I'm very disappointed, really, in the crowd behaviour. Because, you know, you never know. Already 8 down, but that's how cricket goes, and I'm very disappointed that they behaved in this manner. And you know, we've got to try and finish the game. I'd like to finish the game. I wouldn't like to know that I've got to call it off and give the game to Sri Lanka.
Well, what really is the decision you've taken? What have you asked the ground staff to really do?
Well, I asked them to try and clear the ground up because there are a bits of broken bottle around, and we've tried to get the police more or less intermingling with the crowd of such, and try to get them to desist from this sort of behavior, because it's been a bit of a struggle for India, no doubt about that. But the point is that they won the toss, and Sri Lanka played extremely well. And I think that, in this game you win some and you lose some.
Well, just in case that things don't improve out here, what sort of decision can you take?
Well, the point is, if it doesn't improve, it's obvious I'll have to give the game to Sri Lanka. That's in my remit, and I will do so. I'll have no problems in doing so. And it's very disappointed. I'm very disappointed about this.
Well, it's a big game, the semi-final of the World Cup. You heard the match referee Clive Lloyd saying there that everyone really is disappointed with the way things have gone on in the last half an hour or so. But the two umpires are still out in the middle. They're hoping that things will come back to normal. And really, you can see some of the spectators there really showing their sporting spirit by saying, "We are sorry, but congratulations to Sri Lanka. I think they deserve it. They've played some very good cricket out there. They've showed a lot of heart and courage, and really deserve this win, because it wasn't easy once they were put in, and having lost those couple of wickets, they really clawed their way back into the game through a superb innings from Arvinder De Silva, ably supported by Mahanama. And you can see the two umpires still having a chat in the middle. Ian Robinson, he's the standby umpire with Cyril Mitchley. The umpire actually officiating today is Steve Dunn.
One team has to win, one team has to lose, and the Sri Lankans deserve to be given credit for the way they have recovered. They lost 2 wickets in the first over of the game, but they recovered to post a total of 251, and now after some order has been restored, the Sri Lankan team going out to field again. We'll have to wait and see how many overs have been cut off by the umpires and the match referee for this hold-up in play. But all this is certainly not going to help India.
Well, certainly won't, but it's nice to see the players back out in the middle. Well, that's what everybody wants. They want to see some cricket. They want to see a proper winner. And it would have been most unfortunate if Sri Lanka had to win a game when they actually couldn't finish it. And you can see the match referee out there in the middle doing the calculations, having a chat with the Sri Lankan captain.
Mr. Dalmia, the Philcom secretary. Nasimul Ghani on the extreme left. The standby match referee, that's Clive Lloyd in the middle there. He is the match referee now soon going to be the manager of the West Indies team. And then he will not have to take such delicate decisions. But look at him sweating, it's still humid.
Well, Sonny certainly wouldn't have minced any words there when he spoke to Arjuna Ranatunga. It seemed from here he said that, well, give it another go. In case there's something that happens again, well, we'll take some sterner action. But all seems to be well. The batsmen are out as well, Kambli, and with him Anil Kumble. And both these batsmen out in the middle have a tremendous task in front of them to haul India out of trouble. In fact, they'll have to play some spectacular cricket to get India out of the position they are in at the moment. 132 runs required in only 15 overs.
Well, it's a very, very deep hole that the Indians find themselves in, and to a great extent they have only themselves to blame, because in spite of knowing how the wicket plays here, and that on the Indian subcontinent teams chasing 230, 240, to not find it easy, they still opted to field. Maybe the Australians did that easily yesterday in the quarterfinals against New Zealand, scoring 287. but that was really an exception.
But Sunny, I'm sure if Australia had won the toss there, they would have decided to bat. But what was most amazing was you did the toss with the two captains, and after Azhar decided to field, you asked Ranatunga what he would have done, and he said if he had won the toss, he would have fielded.
Yes, because they preferred to chase, and they were hoping that with the kind of starts that they were getting, they would have been able to chase any total that the Indians would have put up.
But it just seems that there's still trouble out there. There was a man sent to field at deep mid-on, but he's been not been treated well by the crowd. He's had something thrown at him. Ranatunga has complained to the umpires, and I really see that, well, it just looks, by the look of things there, that the match has been abandoned and given to Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankans are absolutely delighted. They deserve this win, albeit in conditions that wouldn't have amused them, but really it has been a sorry tale for India.
It has been, and with the telecast going all around the world, it doesn't really present a very pretty picture of Indian crowds. As I said earlier, one team's going to win and one team's got to lose in a one-day game, and the Indians are at the receiving end this time. They have won a few matches and they've lost a few. It's not the end of the world.
You can literally see the shock on the faces of a lot of people here. They did not expect this to happen. I don't mean the result of the game, but the behavior of the crowd. And it's been a long time since a match has been abandoned, and you can literally see the tears in the eyes of Vinod Kamble. He knew that he was only a step away from a World Cup final, but he'll have to live another day to see that occasion. What he can do now is to walk into the Sri Lankan dressing room, shake their hands and say, well done, you deserve to win.
Thank you very much, Ravi. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have your attention for a moment, please. We've got a few presentations to make down here. The first one is the check to the losing semi-finalist. Everyone, there's got to be a winner every time, and there's got to be a loser. So Mohammed Azharuddin, if you'd like to come up and receive the check, it's going to be presented by Mr. B. Mitter, the Director of Worlds.
Hard luck this time.
That's a bad luck, tough day. That pitch started to turn a bit towards the end of the day.
Well, yeah, it was very difficult to chase on that wicket, but I think we got off to a very good start in the morning. In the afternoon when we got 3 wickets, but we could not keep the pressure on. I think we gave about 70-80 runs extra on that wicket.
When Sachin was going, it looked as if you had got it in the bag, but all of a sudden they did pretty well, didn't they? They put the pressure on and they bowled well.
Yeah, they did bowl well. They kept the pressure on, but I think we needed to get 100 in the first 20 overs, which we did not, and I think that's where we faltered.
Well, bad luck today, and no doubt you'll live to see another one.
Okay, thanks very much.
Bad luck. Mohammed Azharuddin. Well, I think we should have the winning captain up, Arjuna Ranatunga, if you'd like to come up and have a few words quickly. I haven't got a check for you this time. No doubt you'll pick it up somewhere else, but congratulations and very well played to you and your team.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks a lot.
I suppose you were a bit, when you lost the toss, you might have thought it would have gone the other way, but you were... What is your feeling about winning the toss? Which way would you have gone?
I thought it was a very good toss to lose. And after the bad start, we had Arvind, Roshan, Hashan, everyone contributed, and we had a very good score on the board. We knew that if we get about 240, we have a pretty good chance.
So you thought you had enough runs?
Especially when we saw the wicket, when we were batting, there were a lot of cracks, so we thought that there might be a chance.
And it did spin, didn't it? They did well, the spinners?
I thought, yes, all the spinners bowled pretty well.
Well, congratulations and good luck in the next one.
Thanks a lot.
Arjuna Ranatunga. Right, now we've also got the man of the match. First of all, the man of the match check. We'd like to ask Mr. Jagmahal Dalmia, the convener secretary of Pilcom, if he'd like to present the check to the man of the match. And then after that, I'm going to ask Mr. Jyoti Basu, the Honourable Chief Minister for the Government of West Bengal, to present that all-important trophy to the man of the match. The guy who did it today for the Sri Lankans, Aravinda De Silva.
All the television units in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka have seen some great action. And this unit, Unit B, has had a feast of cricket throughout India. So we